Hello everybody, welcome to yet another version of Full Force Drafting. We're on episode 4 and we're going to be doing red-green werewolves. So we're looking for a few different cards here. One of them is right here, Ulrich's Kindred, so that's perfect. Problem is, there's actually a much better werewolf, which is Solitary Hunter. And I think I'm going to take that. I'm going to really hope that we wield Ulrich's Kindred. This happens a fair bit. Ulrich's Kindred is not the best card outside of werewolves. I mean, it's a 3/2 trample for 3. It's certainly not unplayable, and it of course does work on itself as well, the indestructibility. But inside of werewolves, it's quite good. The other card that we're really looking for is Pack Resurgence. So that's what we're going to keep our eyes open for. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode of Full Force Drafting, just because of the simple fact that most of the drafts we've done so far, I think they really go off the rails if we don't get a few specific cards, whereas this one is really less synergistic. So it's all about like being big red-green creatures. You want to get removal, but I mean there's only a couple cards that even really have to be together, and that's really just going to be like Moonlight Hunt, the Ulrich's Kindred, and Pack Resurgence. And beyond that, you don't really need a lot of like tribal cards, so most of them are just going to be good red and green cards besides that. We're going to take Kessig Forgemaster here, because this card's fantastic, and it is another werewolf, so I'm very happy to grab that there. And yeah, not a whole lot to talk about here. Indulgent Aristocrat and Murderous Compulsion are both kind of cool, but I like the Forgemaster. Ooh, and Quilled Wolf, nice. Yeah, I will slam the Quilled Wolf. Alright, looking good. Now, what else do we take? It's funny, one of the things that LSV mentioned at one time, and I've noticed it myself since he mentioned it as well, is that if we do get Pack Resurgence, I can almost guarantee that Moonlight Hunt, one of the other cards that we want, is going to be in that same pack. For some reason, it seems like they always end up in the same print runs. So hopefully that won't happen, or we can wheel the other one. We'll see. Alright, I'm going to take Insolent Neonate here, I think. Insolent Neonate is not amazing, but we might end up with a couple Madness cards. Things like Fiery Temper would be good. And it seems like the best thing for us. There's a very little to talk about this particular style of drafting, just because it is so... It's so much more straightforward for Innistrad. Innistrad has a lot of very interesting kind of changes to it. Like, there's a lot of decks that are very synergistic, and you have to move in on a very specific subset of cards, whether it's clues, or if you're going to be going Delirium even. But this one is just more typical. Like, you just really want big red and green creatures. You want a few removal spells, and then if you get a couple of things that let you pay off for being werewolves, then that's fantastic. If you don't, you're still going to end up with a solid deck. So hopefully one of these Magmatic Chasms come back, because I might play one of them. Uncaged Fury, though, is not bad in this kind of deck, because we're going to end up with some really large creatures, and just out of nowhere, just being able to kill somebody's nice. Wow, there's some really good cards in both blue and black here, but I guess we just take Tormenting Voice and hope that that's good enough. Like I said, I'm gonna probably end up with 1 or 2 Madness cards anyways, being in red. That Incorrigible Youth's, like, it probably shouldn't wheel, but we might get something like that later, so that'd be really nice. I guess that we'll just find out what we can get. Senseless Rage. I mean, that'll work. That is a card that actually works as a Madness card for us. I'm probably not going to try and play it, but if we do end up with a bunch of Tormenting Voices and we don't have any better things to fill it in with, then Senseless Rage is fine. Groundskeeper I don't think I need, because I'm not going to be discarding a lot of lands into my graveyard for different things. Groundskeeper is kind of cool in Delirium decks if you can get like a Call to Bloodline. Alright, we'll grab Rest of Adrenaline here. And, ooh, Pack Wolf wheeled. Nice. Pack Wolf is a lot better in this style of deck, because now it has a lot more payoff. It's just basically a 3/3. Wow, late Indulgent Aristocrat. I'm actually just going to hate it here. I don't want somebody else going really deep into vampires and getting a huge payoff for Indulgent Aristocrat. And I don't think that I need Warp Landscape all that much. I'll take a Magmatic Chasm. We'll sideboard it for now, but if I have to put it in as filler, then I'm probably okay with that. I'll take Sanitarium Skeleton because I don't need 2 Magmatic Chasms. I can't ever imagine playing 2. And this next pack, I'm hoping that we open the Howl pack. Because we actually have enough wolves right now, too. Normally, I think to play a Howl pack Resurgence, you probably need... I'm going to say you probably need about 6, maybe even 7 minimum werewolves and wolves. But we already have 4 and it's pack 1. We're going to be able to pick up some incidental ones. So I think that Howl pack Resurgence is something that I would just slam right now over almost anything else. Because once you do get into this deck, Howl pack Resurgence is just a bomb. It's an instant speed Always Watching. Like, Always Watching is, everybody agrees, is a fantastic card in this format. And Howl pack Resurgence is that, but at instant speed. It's so insane. So it is a huge payoff. Ooh, Bygone Bishop is very nice. This card's quite nasty. But we are just going to grab Solitary Hunter here, I think. There's a lot of white cards. Dauntless Cathar is also pretty good. There's not actually a ton of good white cards, just a lot of them. Apothecary Geist is fine, but I wouldn't be happy first picking that either. Bygone Bishop I'd be very happy first picking. Being able to make a clue for every single time that you play a creature is pretty gross. But Solitary Hunter is an easy pick for us. It's just a great card. We didn't wheel that last Ulrich's Kindred, which is unfortunate, but I am slamming this one. Be quite good for us. Might be able to wheel the Aim High, which is a decent trick for what we're trying to do. We need a couple Rabid Bites or like a Fiery Temper at some point. We don't have any removal yet. That could be an issue. Hopefully not. Hopefully won't be an issue for us, but I'll feel a lot better once we get 1 or 2 of those. So far the deck looks quite good though. It's really solid. It looks like red and green are actually somewhat open too, so this is going to be a lot more focused full force episode, I think. Like I said, I feel like this deck is going to be more of a real deck. Let's take Obsessive Skinner. Green seems a lot more closed off than red, but it's not like so hated out that it's not unreasonable for us to be in it. Let's take the Obsessive Skinner for sure. Ember Eye Wolf is, even in the Wolf deck, I still don't really like this card, and I'm probably going to wheel it anyways. There's a bunch of other red cards. Skin Invasion I actually think is a lot better in red-green Werewolves, just because of the fact that you get a lot of big blockers. Normally you get, like, Skin Invasion is kind of mediocre, just because you don't necessarily have good blocks for it when you're in red. A lot of the red creatures are a little bit smaller, but green gives you the things like Solitary Hunter that you can actually block with, and then Skin Invasion I think becomes a lot better card. So Skin Invasion in this style of deck I'm a lot happier with than I normally am. Not that I don't mind Skin Invasion normally anyways, but I think that it's got a lot higher payoff when you've got green around it. Fiery Temper is a slam for us. Ooh, Ulvenwald Mysteries, Sage of Ancient Lore. Ember Eye. Dire Swine. Ulvenwald Mysteries is just such a bomb. So, I know that this is supposed to be like an archetype draft and we're forcing an archetype. And I've done picks before quite a bit where I've been taking cards that are in an archetype over more powerful cards that are out of that archetype. But this is actually in the same archetype. Like, it's just a good green card, and we're just in the market for that. Like, Sage of Ancient Lore, this card is super underwhelming. Inside of a sealed deck, it's quite good, because things don't get played out quite as fast, so you tend to have more cards in hand, and so does your opponent. So you tend to get the Sage of Ancient Lore a lot larger, and when it flips, it's really nasty. But inside of draft, like, it's often just a 2/2. It has not been that good for me. So I'd rather have the Ulvenwald Mysteries, even in a Werewolf deck. Now we have Harvest Hand. Like, even if I do get Howl pack Resurgence and Moonlight Hunt, I'm probably happier with the Mysteries. I don't want to play Sage of Ancient Lore. The card's been pretty bad for me. Most of the time when I've played it, it's been a 5-mana 2/2 that draws you a card, which is not where you want to be. That's not a card. Harvest Hand is decent. Veteran Cathar is actually good for us because all of our werewolves are obviously humans before they flip. That being said, Harvest Hand does the same kind of thing. I think that we take Harvest Hand because I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to splash the white easily. So I'm going to take the Harvest Hand. Intrepid Provisioner actually works out quite well because, again, all of the werewolves are humans before they flip. So I'll take an Intrepid Provisioner. Not, like, super happy with it, but it's okay. We have one more pack to really get that Howl Pack Resurgence, which is what we're looking for. I don't think anybody else will take it at this point. We've taken a lot of wolves and werewolves. There's the aim high that we were hoping to wheel. This deck is already quite strong. I think that we'll take out the Neonate. There's no real reason for us to play that. We just have one Fiery Temper. That's not nearly enough. I'd need like 3 Madness cards before I want to play Insolent Neonate, I think. It's fine to if you're in Vampires and like super aggro or something and you want to discard lands to it. But here, like, I'm not really looking to discard a lot of lands to it. We're going to have more late game cards because we are kind of more of a mid-range deck. And we don't have any like Vampire synergies or anything anyways. So there's no real reason to go deep on that. Okay. Stoic Builder, Moldgraph Scavenger. And Stoic Builder is a human. We do have Intrepid Provisioner and the Harvest Hand, so that's a little bit of payoff that way. Plus, we can then discard lands to Tormenting Voice and buy them back with the Stoic Builder. I don't think we're ever going to get Delirium in this deck. Although we do have Obsessive Skinner, so maybe I should be trying to get Delirium. Instant Sorcery. Well, maybe we do. This is a close one. I'm going to take the Moldgraph, actually. Aim high number 2. It's possible that I play that. Skin Invasion and Ember Eye Wolf. This is an interesting one. If I do get Howl Pack Resurgence, I probably want the Ember Eye Wolf. If I don't, I think that I want the Skin Invasion. Skin Invasion does help with the Delirium with Obsessive Skinner. I think they'll take Skin Invasion here. Root out, sure. There's Ember Eye Wolf. I'm not looking to play Ember Eye unless I get the Howl Pack Resurgence. And I just need it to fill out more wolves and werewolves. Or if I get like Moonlight Hunt. Still only one piece of removal in our deck. Ooh, wow. Lambhold Pacifist? Slam. Lambhold Pacifist is a great card, and it's a werewolf. It might even be the best card in this pack. Thalia's Lieutenant is pretty decent. I don't like Thing in the Ice in Draft, honestly. It's really hard to get working. If you can actually have the Spells deck and then you get Thing in the Ice, then it's pretty great. But Spells is so fragile that I don't love going all in on it. Not early. Pacifist is nice, though, as we said. Ooh. Tamio's Journal is kind of an uber bomb. Especially with, like, Ulvenwald Mysteries. But that being said, we are doing full force, so... Cult of the Waxing Moon or Hinterland Logger are right up the alley for what this deck is trying to do. I feel like... this works with so much of our deck, and I have a higher chance of wheeling it. I think I take the Logger and hope that I get back the Cult. I'm not sure if that's right. Put the Ember Eye in the sideboard for now, too, until we can get a Howl Pack Resurgence. I'm going to take the Hinterland Logger and really hope that we wheel the Cult of the Waxing Moon. Because I would like that. That's a pretty big payoff for a bunch of our flip cards. Maybe I should just take it now, but I feel like Hinterland Logger is just a lot better of a card normally. Wow, Pious Evangel is pretty great. That being said, for red-green, what do we have? I guess Gibbering Fiend? I don't love that. I don't need another Moldgraph Scavenger. Pyrehound, I'm not going to be really going in on because I don't have enough sorceries and instants. I just have like Tormenting Voice, Rush of Adrenaline, Aim High, and Fiery Temper, so just 4. I guess it's fine if you play one of their spells, so maybe it's the pick. Yeah, super mediocre. I'll take the Gibbering Fiend. We might want to be super aggressive against somebody's deck. Alright, now we get a Rabbit Bite. I'd love Solitary Hunter, but we really need removal. And Rabbit Bite's perfect. It's too bad that we had to pass the Solitary Hunter for it, but I'll definitely take this. Wow, Breakneck Rider is a bomb. This card's better than basically every rare werewolf in the set, which is kind of absurd. Breakneck Rider is unbelievably good. Card's fantastic. Alright, take Reduce to Ashes. The thing is, like, giving all of your attacking creatures +1/+0 in trample is just so good, and especially that you don't... When I first saw this card, I was expecting that when it attacks, then all other attacking creatures get +1/+0 and have trample, which is still absurd. Like, it's still really, really good. But, like, that you don't even have to attack with it is what really pushes it over the top for me, because you can attack with other creatures that you don't mind, like, trading off, and then just let it smash in afterwards when the dust settles. Card is absolutely bonkers. Alright, another Quilled Wolf. It's too bad we never did get the Howl Pack. We've got a lot of wolves. Like, a lot of wolves. It's too bad. Yeah, now we could take Thornhide or Gloom Widow. I don't have a lot of ways to stop flyers, so I might actually want a Gloom Widow for the sideboard more than I want a Thornhide Wolves for the main deck. Just at this particular point. Thornhide does work with Ulrich's Kindred, which is nice, but I think... And, like, Gloom Widow's a really bad blocker, like, just terrible. And a lot of the time I just kind of hate playing it, but considering that I just have, like, no flyers and no flying blockers, I think that I might need the Gloom Widow. Alright, now we take Kessig Dire Swine. Sure. Wow. Voldaren Duelist is late here. Do I put that in over anything? Maybe. Not sure over what. Maybe over Intrepid Provisioner. I don't have that many humans now that I look at it. I guess Hinterland Logger, Forge Master, and Pacifist. And Obsessive Skinner. Is that enough? I'm going to dual shot for the sideboard. We might come across a deck with a bunch of X1s. Second Rush of Adrenaline, or just hate somebody's Epitaph Golem. Take the second Rush. So this is kind of what we were talking about. The Red-Green Werewolves deck, if you don't end up with Howlpack Resurgences and stuff, I mean, even if you do, it just ends up looking more like just red-green mid-range. There's not a lot of, like... There's not a lot of cards that are absolute keys. You've got cards that make the deck a lot better, like Ulrich's Kindred, and Howlpack Resurgence obviously is just the best thing you can get for it. But if you don't get them, the deck's still fine. Like, this deck still looks great. There's nothing wrong with this at all. I'm pretty happy with it. This is actually a really nice aggressive deck. I think... Is it possible that we even just play 16 lands? I have one 5-drop, but 4 4-drops is a little much. Yeah, I need to cut a card. I think that it's Intrepid Provisioner. Voldaren Duelist is just too good for an aggressive deck like this. And we're quite aggressive. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-drops. It's not bad. Alright, I like this. Sort by color. Interesting. It's a little bit awkward for the land because we've got some double red cards, but all of our green is really, really early, and we need a lot more green early than we need red early, so that could be interesting. I think we go 9-8 the other way. Yeah, I can miss out on Breakneck Rider early, which kind of sucks, but the card's still good a little later, and it's pretty even split. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with this. This is a decent draft. Too bad we didn't pick up the Howlpack Resurgence, but beyond that, the deck's pretty nice, and we did get the Ulrich's Kindred, so that's a pretty big payoff for our deck anyways. We've got a lot of Werewolves and Wolves, like, just a ton, so that's going to be really nice. The Cult of the Waxing Moon would have been another decent enough payoff, but that one's, it's less important. generally that card doesn't do as much as I would like. Like, it does go in this type of deck, but I've never really managed to get a ton of wolves off of it. Generally, the maximum that I've gotten is 1, and then it tends to die or trade off with something else. Alright, but in any case, I'm going to submit the deck, and we'll see you guys for round 1. Ooh, man, this is a great hand. It's too bad we didn't have one more mountain, but besides that, I cannot complain. Forge Master into Ulvenwald Mysteries is a great start. Honestly, any hand with Ulvenwald Mysteries is probably pretty great for us. Being able to chain werewolves together off of clues seems really nice.